Hi there. Um, just making sure you can hear me. So, bro, and I live stream every day, working and building things with Lovable, another live coding AI builder tools. Um, Today, in the series that we're building, I'm taking a different approach into building apps, an approach that I believe is going to make the whole architecture like more manageable and less prone to run into errors and bugs that later on really can be fixed. Let me just turn down the volume of the music a bit. There you go, that should be fine. So yeah, if you're watching, feel free to drop a comment. Let me know where you're watching from. I'm in Buenos Aires, Argentina right now. We have a cloudy weather today, a bit of cold, that's fine. We are saying hello to the winter these days. And it's gonna be very cozy the following weeks coding these afternoons here in the city. So thank you for joining me and thank you for being here. So yes, I'm gonna give you a preview of what we're trying to build in this series, right? I'm trying to make an RPG-based habit tracking tool where you can like track your habits and complete them and earn XP. And later on, I would like to introduce even like a combat system, right? So you not only gamify that aspect of completing the habits, but actually using the effort that you're gaining with completing the habits somehow in a fun way. So I'm very excited about that actually, and that's what we're trying to build. Again, like I said in the beginning, we're taking a different approach, where instead of like dumping the images, the UI, and telling Lovable to start building things without any order, we are developing every feature in a sandbox, like in a sandbox approach, right? So for example, if I log in here, you're gonna see that in my login screen. This actually looks very different, right, from the designs. It only got the colors and the fonts. So you're gonna see a buttons here where I'm basically creating the sandboxes to test every feature separately, then like integrate them together and see how they work together, and then develop the UI or whatever interface elements I'm gonna bring on top of them. Right, so I make sure to run out and fix every problem bug that can search before implementing these features into the actual screens, into the actual flows, where I think it's a bit more difficult to solve. So if I click on manage habits, for example, you're gonna see that, let me just lock this real quick because it's gonna give me a couple of, there you go, annoying notifications. So we have like the habit system done, right? So for example, I can manage habits from here. You can see it right here, I can delete them. And if I create a daily one, this is the difficulty level, I create a habit. I got it here, and if I click like on complete, then I get XP, I get the completion, and if I advance one day, it should reset the completion of the habit right there. This should work for every other habit. So if I test a weekly, also the difficulty levels, of course, have a different award of XP, so that's all right. That's something we defined with previous prompts, like the whole system of how much XP does it get. That was actually a very fun and nerdy part of building this project, like defining, trying to balance like how much XP the habit is going to give and how much points The level up system is going to give each character. So that was really cool. So right now I'm just doing a quick test, just because the last time we were trying to introduce like a streak system that will give you bonus XP based on how many days consecutive you will come into the app and complete a single habit, right? But for some reason, even after 3 different tries with different tools, I try with Lovable, I try um, with Cursor, and introducing this kind of strict system. And for some reason, I couldn't get it to work. I'm gonna keep trying, but it's something I'm gonna leave for like version 2. I just want to focus on like the MVP defined things, which are getting the systems right and enabling correct onboarding and character screen so the people can start using this, right? Although I think the streak is very, very important for keeping the people tuning in daily. But yeah, as you can see, like most of the timely based habits work right there. So I'm just gonna go back to the dashboard, and this is the character editing part. This is the stats part, right? Progress here. You have primary stats, and then you have derivative stats, right? These are stats that depend on the primary ones, and probably items as well in the future. So if, for example, I level up, right? I have a button here to simulate habit completion, and that's, as you can see, that moving some progress on my bar. When I hit level 2, I have stat points, and I can choose to allocate them. So if I have like 8 intelligence, for example, I allocate my points after leveling up, and now I have like more magic points and more spell damage from it, and things like that. I actually like the name magic points. It was actually mana, as the usual RPG games and stuff, but it came up with this name automatically, I guess, magic points. So I think the only problem is going to make sure that the documentation has the same name. So yeah, that's it. That's a quick overview of what I have done so far. And like I said, our next step was going to be implemented the streak, but I think we're gonna leave that for later. So I'm just gonna check the Vibe document real quick, which is a document we prepare to kind of lay out the features and know in what order we're developing this different features of the app. And I'm just going to go and check if I'm missing something before starting to pull this all together, at least for the first version, right? So we got the database running. We had the habit management system already. We have the experience and level up system. We're not missing anything. People can earn experience points. They can level up. Say for the stats, they can assign the stats. You have the secondary stats depending on the first ones. And yes, according to this, I think we're ready to start putting this together in a way that looks more similar to the design we have. So I think I'd like to maybe begin with the onboarding process, right? Which is this experience right here, allowing people to choose why are they using the app for, which is like, this is one of the most important questions based on my product experience that you can ask a customer when they use an app, because it gives you like an abstraction of their motivation to use the app, right? So if you know why they use it, you can use that information to understand how the app can kind of match the needs better of your users, especially if you have like a whole lot of data that says why they use it from different customers. And then the second step is going to be like picking 2 categories of habits that they can use. I want to use this information to create like dummy placeholder habits once you finish the character creation. So when you get to the dashboard screen, you don't get like 0 habits, but you can preview how the habits are going to look like, and they're probably habits that you're gonna add to the app later because it was marked as your interests. So what I'm gonna do right here is just gonna go to lovable. Again, this is the first time I do this like in this way. So let's just jump right into the action and see what lovable can do. Okay. So I'm gonna say, okay, lovable has already context of the approach we're taking, right? One of the first prompts, and in many of the prompts that we are building these sandboxes, he already has context of that we're doing this as a new approach, so he knows that at this point he's gonna put together some of the things he built for that. So I'm gonna, or at least he should. So I'm gonna go say, okay, let me just drink some water real quick before we start. We finish the character stats and habit start. And habit management. Sandboxes. Now I want to introduce and develop a onboarding that should trigger, and I'm going to define the conditions after an user register / logs in for the first time. To I also want to mention that if someone logged in for the first time but didn't complete the onboarding, it should be prompted as well. It should trigger when an user logs in and hasn't completed the onboarding yet. I'm going to provide screenshots of the UI for the process. Make sure to get them as similar as you can using or prioritizing the current styles, colors, UI components. No, wait a minute. Yeah, I don't want it to use the same components. Maybe yes. Size. I'm just gonna say styles and colors that you've been using so far. Also, you know what? Actually, instead of saying this, I'm gonna add into parentheses. Try to identify similar parents on the screenshots attached that could be turned into components, right? So that's my way of saying, hey, if we have a title, don't give me like 3 independent titles on all the steps of the onboarding, but try to make a component out of the title and use that. Maybe I should give him that example. I'm just gonna go and check the design real quick. Maybe the input buttons. No, I think that's fine. I'm just gonna go without the example because I don't want to be too specific, to be honest. I just wanted him to know that I wanted to work with components. Then I have I always lose this, but I have it actually here on my Notion. I'm gonna check it real quick. I'm looking for a prompt that I try to give lovable every time I build a new feature, and it helps a lot with getting the details right. So let me find it real quick. Data maybe. Resources, yeah. Okay. It's a very long prompt. I can share it if anyone in the chat is interested. Let me check. Let's build the onboarding, but first, for coding. Okay, there you go. So what I'm basically telling him is don't build. I'm just gonna go and select chat mode to be sure. But the basic, the function of this prompt is to make lovable ask me back questions that should polish the details and the expectations that I have for the feature that I'm getting it to build. So things such as how many steps there are, what happens after it completed, right? Things that maybe I didn't mention, like when I just described quickly the feature that it's going to build. And it's also like checking the current application before going up. So the Spark stream is a bit boring, but it's super needy. Like I recommend you to do it yourself as well. I always say that these steps usually get you like a couple of minutes, and it seems as you could just start building while you're replying to this question. That's more worth it. But trust me, it is not. Defining the right thing with this level of clarity is going to help you save so much time in the future, most likely, especially if you're building something with somewhat of a complexity level. So data questions, I'm gonna go. There are numbers. I'm just going to reply to the numbers. Should a body process be tracked by users? No, just tracking completion of the final step. So entire process is okay for tracking. In the character creation step, should we keep all the current fields, or would you like to add or remove any? Okay, so it has name, class, and gender. I'm just going to make sure that's actually you have the name, the class, and the gender. So that's all right. We'll use the same fields, but in a slightly different layout. 3. Should we store user preference settings? Yes. Yes. For now, the only user preference we'll store. You know what? Oh, no, it has a logic questions. Let's give it a general context, because I want to define some things even if he asked me for it or not. So the onboarding process will be a 3-step process. Each step should have a progress bar that shows where in the process the user is. First step is what are you using the app for? First step, simple question with 5 choices generated by you that should allow the app to gather in a very straightforward but natural way why is the user motivation user trying the app. The last choice should be a other option that allows the user to type in its own reply. Second step, this should be stored in the database. Second step. Second step is take from the list, right? So second step, a list of options asking the user what kind of hobbies, activities does he want to track habits for. Can be multiple selection, up to 3 choices. No way, lovable. No way you just did this. Okay, thank God. I thought I lost like the progress line of questions. I got scared for a minute. Okay, I'm just gonna copy it. I'm gonna copy this because I got scared right now. Okay, where was it? Second step, okay, multiple up to 3 choices, and this should be stored and will be used to generate 2 placeholder habits when the character creation is done. Third step, this is character creation. There you go. I'm just gonna go say character creation. Okay, let's go back to the questions. Should we sort? Yes, we're not this professor. Are the ones described in the general context above. 4. Logic. How many steps should be the onboarding? This is character creation. 3 steps, as defined previously. 5. Should users be able to skip any steps? No, they can't skip any step. For the option ones, they should mark the options before the continue button being available. I'm starting to think it's something else. I'm sorry. I was trying to think how do I want to instruct it to build the UI, and I think it might be better to tell them to get the layout right? So the layout means where is the information placed on the screen, and not the details so much, because it's easier for me to manually edit the details instead of making layout changes. So I'm gonna tell them that at the end of this list. Okay, they can skip, but continue before being available. That's right. Number 6, should we allow users to and also I want to make sure that they can come back later if they didn't finish the onboarding process, but it should reset from step 0. Step 1, actually. 6, should we allow users to modify the choices after completing? No. Not even character creation. Maybe only the name. How should we handle users who close browser mid onboarding? Reset the onboarding for 8. Would you like a progress indicator? Yes. A subtle one. See screenshots. Oh, you know what I'm gonna do? Because I've seen with the ChatGPT new image model, I've seen that it's very, very useful to kind of get an image and then add a couple of like written instructions on top of it, like if you were doodling, because it gives so much context to the AI, like what part of the app it's talking about, right? Not the app, because I haven't tried that much with Lovable, but with 4.0 it seems to work greatly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to provide the screenshots of the design, and I'm going to label them so it knows what part of the screen it is, like what step of the onboard process. And I'm also going to do things such as pointing out what do I expect to be like the progress bar, right? So for example, this is my progress bar on the design. So I'm going to draw an arrow and say, hey, this is the point, these are the options. I'm going to ignore this component for a while, I think. I don't know. I wanted this to be like a quick tutorial, right? So like an NPC talking to you, telling you why do we need this information, stuff like that. Maybe we'll do them. Let's see. What I want to avoid is to overload the what I'm asking for, right? So I want to build the right things with the right amount of computing power when it's saturated. Okay, 9. Should we have a tour component to highlight key feature after onboarding? For now, no. Let's just drop people after completion to the dashboard screen. 10. Don't invest that much in dashboard right now. we'll build it later. Just to make sure it doesn't spend too much energy on it. Okay, 10. Would you like animations between onboarding steps? Just loading animations will be okay. Let's see what it comes up with. Actually, now that it's asking for the tour component, maybe we can explain them what is our plan for this like dialog box, right? So let's just go. No, let's just drop up on the screen. Let's just only build a dialog box component. See screenshot, which will be a floating dialog box with an image at fixed at the bottom of the screen that guides the user through the onboarding real quick. This will later be used to expand other features. Also, after onboarding completion, let's just we'll do later. 11. Should mobile users see the exact same flow, or should we adapt? No. Remember that the app is mainly mobile first. So make sure you adapt everything for mobile UX. Additional questions. 12. Do you want to include any gamification embedded? Nope. Nope. Not right. 13. Should we collect any additional user preference? Nope. Only the already described. 14. Would you like to include a way to test the onboarding flow without creating a new account? I think that could be sick actually, but I think I'd rather just create a new account. I'm fine with creating new accounts. And then I'm going to go to the default and I'm going to prepare the screenshots, right? So this is like step number 1. I'm going to copy it as a, no, actually I'm going to use screenshot. I'm going to edit them using the penciler here. And I'm going to go and say, hey, can I make this image bigger actually? I think I can, right? I mean, I can, but I don't like the... I'm just checking what can I do right here to make this. Oh, I like this features. I'm discovering features of of screenshot as we speak. What is this? This is like a transparency level. I don't know. Okay, I'm just going to expand this. So I think he'll understand that this is the mobile part. So crop, and then go and say like title. I'm gonna use different color for the different components. So this is the progress bar. Choices, right? And the... Oh, actually, before I forget, for the UI, make sure to get the layout as close as you can. And details such as text size and color can be sacrificed. I'm probably going to manually get the details, but still try as hard as you can to replicate the designs. So it'll be easier to fix details instead of layout. Distribution, boxes, what else? Containers, that sort of thing. And I'm gonna go back to the image and I'm gonna go and say, okay, so this is the, how do we call dialog box? Dialog box point. The yellow one is choices. The bluish one is progress bar. And the red one is title. And I'm gonna add purple text here that says onboarding step number 1. Maybe white, Now, but it's gonna get confused a bit. Just go with yellow. And yeah, I'm going to add an extra instruction just to be sure, where I tell him things marked with arrow and colors in the screenshot are instructions for you, not UI elements. There you go. Now I'm gonna go with step 2, right? Step 2, do I need, I think I don't need to indicate anything at step 2. It's pretty straightforward with the one I chose. And with the character screen, I do need to indicate a couple of things. So I'm gonna copy this. I'm gonna zoom it a little bit. Copy that. And then make this bigger. Bam, 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 bam. Oh, yeah, okay, to the second one, I think we want to just add that. That's gonna be the step number 2. So we're gonna go back to it in a second. I'm gonna go and say onboarding step number 3. Character naming. What else? Started class selection buttons. Gender selection buttons. What else? Character image. Do I need anything else? I think that's complete. And yes, let's just paste it here and then go for this one. Onboarded things, step number 2. Now I'm gonna go and add an extra instruction, which is also keep in mind that the distribution that I made the canvas larger to add the instructions on the screenshots, but the ratio should look more like onboarding step number 2 screenshot. And I think we're ready to go, actually. I think we gave them pretty specific and good instructions. So let's give it a shot and see what it comes up with. I'm just trying to see if I'm missing anything else. Um, kind of instructed, yeah, what kind of images this is. He doesn't have any image, but I think he can use it like a placeholder. And then the continue button, which is a step. That's right. Yep, I think we're good to go, actually. So let's go and see some of that lovable magic. This is gonna be a waiting time for a while. So meanwhile, I'm going to encourage you viewers, thanks for being here, by the way. And I'm going to encourage you to check my YouTube channel. You can find the tag on this purple bar here. You can go to the channel and check the first video I uploaded, but I plan to upload a second one this week, where you can get a better glance of things such as how did I made and came up with this vibe doc. So you can do it yourself for your project, and in general just save a lot of time and a lot of credit into building real apps, right? Because I think my hot take on the vibe coding space right now is that too many people are trying to build things on the go, right? So they want to build like this really complex new app just by having a quick conversation with Lovable without providing many details or many structure. And that can work for a certain kind of project that maybe doesn't have like a tech complexity. But when you're trying to build something that looks clean, that works clean as well, that maybe is thought to be something that's going to get into production soon, people are going to use it and reply back to it, such as the app that I'm building right now. First, you need a certain level of quality, because the space is going to get more competitive like day by day. And actually, the main problem of vibe coding right now for many people is like getting a decent UX and a decent UI out there for people to use the product and use it like in a daily basis and really use it, because unless you have a pretty novel and useful idea, it's going to be hard for people to use your app if it has a lot of bugs, if the UX and the process to do something as simple as, I don't know, creating a CRUD system, right? So like managing information, it's really complex, and it's really not complex, but it's built in a way that it's clear that doesn't consider how the user is going to use the app. Then they're probably going to go away, right? I mean, I'd do it. So you need to raise the bar a bit on that standard. And in order to raise the bar a bit, you need some form of planning for the app. You need some form of structure that is going to allow you to get the features right, be flexible enough so you can edit them as you like, to get the UX right, to get the architecture right, and then that it's scalable as well, right? Because I think maybe one of the key problems of vibe coding in general is that people expect to build useful apps in one go, in one set, in a couple of days, and they skip all the preparation, the foundational step, the architecture, which I think is the right approach, right? We have now these tools that code for us. So what we should be doing is, instead of trying to start from the other end, which is just having an idea and puking it out to an AI to make it possible in whatever ways it considers that it's fit, it's actually backpedaling and starting from the other end. So think to yourself, okay, what are the principles? What are the foundations of this app? What systems do I need to get in place? What kind of database relation will that need? And trust me, you don't need to be like an expert developer for that. I'm a designer myself. I played with a bit of code in the past, mostly front end. But this is something that you can learn just by telling ChatGPT or any kind of AI tool to let you know how it works, what you need for it to happen. So you have like a proper preparation and foundation for building somewhat complex apps. So it seems like it finished, and it's actually giving me an error. I think the error is related to, I'm gonna click on fix it, because I just think it's MySQL instruction, right? I think we don't have the database structure to support the onboarding data yet. We didn't consider that at the beginning, I think. So yeah, it's gonna add it, so that's fine for me. Let's just apply the changes. I usually like to consider the errors. If you're new to the stream, I try to consider what kind of error Lovable is giving me. So if it's something that I can solve with cursor without wasting my Lovable credits, I go and do it over there. But because I was sure this was going to be on like a database thing, um, I'm just gonna go with Lovable do it itself because it's quick. Great. We're gonna go back to its last message just to see what it came up with. So it enabled a 3-step onboarding process, right? Motivation selection with custom input, habit category, up to 3 choices, character creation with name, class, and gender, dialog box component, and database integration, and then redirecting to the dashboard. So I'm gonna log out. I'm going to create a new account. So it's just gonna be test2. If you're in the chat and you drop a name, I could create like a character with your name. That'd be sick. So let me know if you want to participate. Okay, test2 is already registered, so let's go with test3. Okay. Okay, I find it so funny that it's using the images, the assets I I share him to actually place them as placeholders to the things we have right now. So yeah, I don't like this notification being here for that long. You have the tutorial, right? Yep. So you can choose other and hey, because I am testing this out. I'm going to continue. And then help, work, and meditation. Continue. And then it's showing me the character image, the name. And oh, it's nice that it got these icons. I've never seen these icons before, so that's really nice. And it's actually giving me real icons for the genders as well, which that's something it got not very right the last time. So I like that. I still don't like the fact that, for example, it is it has a couple of errors. I'm not gonna lie, it's not perfect UI. But what I really hate is that it wrap all of this like in a container, and these are things that really shouldn't be in a container. So yes, that's okay. I think the good news is I actually have already these screens developed in the previous project, which I totally messed up. So I think we can copy that and just paste it over here and match that interface. So yeah, we can recycle that. I'm going to create a warrior and I'm just gonna name it Viber. Continue, loading your adventure. And there you go, Viber warrior level 1. So I think this means that at least we have the logic, right? I'm going to test that this doesn't prompt if I already completed, that's fine. And if I test 2, for example, didn't complete it, so I'm just gonna check it out what happens if you go, yeah, see? And maybe I need accountability, and it should load the data from the current character. Okay, it doesn't, so Viber 3 and a ranger. Yeah, it's failing because this account already had a character created, which should now be possible in theory if we have this onboarding step. So okay. Although it did miss a couple of details, mostly in terms of UI and stuff, I think it really got the idea and the logic right. So what I'm going to do is just test again that we can create this, man. Yeah, we can create it. Okay, that's all right. What I'm gonna do is take the old code, right, and make sure that it looks as I want it to look. So I'm just gonna show you real quick to let you know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna open another cursor project here. Well, first of all, I'm going to get the latest version of this. So going to run the skip command here. There you go. Now we have it updated, and I'm going to open. I think it was RPG Habit Journal, if I recall correctly. Yes, I think it was this. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to run the terminal. So npm run dev. Open this baby. I'm gonna sign up. This. I don't know if I have the database running for this one. Actually, that might be a problem. Yeah. Yeah, user is already registered, so it's actually. I think I already had this account, so I'm gonna go with test 9. I don't know, test com. No, it's giving me like a it's giving me like a default thing. But as you can see, I have the the layout. It's more like to the design because I gotta fix this manually on the previous version. So what I'm gonna try to do is just give them the code and say, okay, here's how the button looks like. Here's how this looks like, and the other, which sounds really boring to be honest. But let's try to leverage some of the AI to see if it can help me with that. So I'm gonna go and open a new cursor and maybe check some of the pages manually just to understand how it works. So if I go to onboarding, yeah, no, I don't understand any of that. So I'm just gonna go and say, gonna click on onboarding here just to reference it, and purpose, character, categories, and I'm gonna say, I'm just gonna check the previous layout as well. So I want to understand if it's using like a similar approach. So you have onboarding, right? And if I check onboarding here, I should see different steps as well. Maybe I think it's handled in a single page, but that's okay. I just want. What I'm trying to do is I want to separate the logic from the front end code. So I want to extract the front end code from the old project to be placed into the new one. And I'm gonna be very specific. So I think the AI is gonna know better than me how to do that. So I'm gonna tell him, hey, I've created a new version of this project, and using AI builders, and I've already implemented a different logic and code for the onboarding process, although it's virtually very similar. However, I like the UI and front end of this version better. So I would like a way to create an instruction and assets if needed to migrate the very same front end code to this new plugin. Some considerations I find important for this. One, add comments to every interactive or dynamic element of the UI. So the other AI builder that will Great. It should know what the element does is meant for to match it with its own logic. That sounds very complex, but what I just really told him was, please, if you find like a character, the character name label, make sure you add a comment into the front end code that says this is the character name, so the other AI can connect their character name and logic and components with that front end. And as a second, the second instruction, I kind of forgot, but what was it? I'm trying to remember. There was another instruction. Oh yeah, the variables. If we're using any kind of dynamic variable or style from CSS or from what was it? Tailwind. Make sure to put it in a list so I can export and import those as well. And I'm gonna hit enter for that. So yeah, I think that's enough. This should give us, let's see how good it does it actually. I think this is gonna be quicker than me, although I'm pretty quick at developing like UI with Tailwind. I think this could be so much quicker, so let's try this. Just because we have 10 minutes left of stream as well. So yeah, things as a play button. I should have told them the assets as well, to be honest. So icons, things like that. And it's giving me okay, we're going to import it with as DSX, right? I initially thought that it could be just HTML and CSS, but I think it might be useful to do the full React DSX file so it knows what to import, for example, right? So like continue button, those are elements that are HTML, like UI elements as well. So I wanted to understand what kind of elements is important. What I don't like is the route, because maybe the routes won't be the same. So I'm gonna make sure that that is clear for. Yeah, what I'm gonna just mention the instruction which will be used to integrate this code into the new project is not to pay that much attention to the backend and logic elements, but the front end elements mostly. This could be really messy as well. Like this is the first time I do something like this, so it could be a bit messy. I don't expect it to work at the first try, but it would be awesome if it does. For now, I think what I'm gonna be doing is I'm going to copy the variables, right? So we have, oh, what happened? Oh shit. I think the thing was too long. Let's try again, yeah, sure. Let's see if I can do a better job with the code it's given, right? So for example, I'm gonna go and add another instruction. I don't necessarily want the entire TSX code, more like the HTML itself. But if you think it can be useful and not confusing for the AI that will import this, to have the TSX code and logic in there, do it that way. also, what else? I'm missing something else. Yeah, but that's all right. Yeah. I was going to tell them that maybe change their route for importing things, but I think it's the same. Like it's a very similar layout. I'm pretty sure, like even without checking, that you have a component um, folder under source. That's just the way it is, right? Yeah, components on source. So I think it's fine just using it the same structure that it's now analyzing. Now it's listing the assets, so that's really cool. It's giving me, hey, you need these assets to exist in order for this to work. You have the colors on Tailwind. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually copy this manually just because I know where they are, right? So we have the colors right there. I'm going to copy them. I'm going to cursor right here. And if I'm gonna close all of this, pretty sure that's a button to close them all, but I don't know what that button is. And I'm gonna go to Tailwind config, colors. Just making sure there's not like a repeated. Yeah, so for example, I'm going to remove background, the old background one, and I'm okay with the other ones. Save it. And also I need to import a shadow, I believe. So yeah, shadow here. I'm gonna make sure it doesn't exist. And it's gonna tell it to add box shadow. Just checking where it's going to add it, probably here. Yeah. Save. What else? Okay, let's now just check the rest of the code. Damn it ended again. I think it's getting too long, but I'm gonna go with 3.7 max, just because that's like the paid model. I'm okay paying a couple of credits just to get this right. It's like cents. We're talking about cents, so I'm gonna give it. Okay, it's giving me the character dialog component, choice button, continue button, play button, what is screen one purpose, what is screen two categories, tree character creation. I think this is looking good. I like this version. Just give me all the HTML. And then the Tailwind styles. Yep, I added those. Now we don't need to set colors, require assets. Okay. I'm going to actually copy the assets, just because I want to make sure it works, it doesn't break. So I'm gonna go to the assets folder here. Where are you, assets? Okay. Damn, where are you? And find the assets folder. It's important, yeah. And I'm just going to open this in Finder. There you go. And then I'm gonna go and go to projects here and public create assets, and then just paste all of them in here. I'm gonna copy them. There you go. Now I have the assets and integrate. Let's read the integration of it. Integration element has comment explaining its progress. The UI is divided into 3 screens that should be shown sequentially. Okay, so we got the different design language, background. Recommend integration approach. First, implement the shared UI components into your new project. Create 3 onboarding screens, connect the screen to your system logic. Okay, I'm gonna copy these instructions because it is what it's recommended. So I'm gonna copy all of this. I'm gonna go to my current project here, and I'm gonna create a new conversation here, and tag onboarding because that's and the components folder maybe, and I tag yeah. There you go. Now, just gonna go and say, hi there. I'm trying to import the front end code for some of the screens and features we've already built in this one. I don't want to change any logic, or let's say I want to avoid, because it might need to change a bit of logic just to match the structures. That's fine. Changing logic and backend as much as possible. Just integrating how the layout and UI looks to this new project. On board. This is the recommended approach. The AI that exported the UI from end code gave me. And then I'm going to show the path. And maybe I want to place the files in. Let's just go with this. I don't think it's too much code, so I'm gonna go with character dialog component, right? So dialog box. Dialog component. Cool. Dialog component. What? Dialog component. There you go. What else? Then we got the choice button. What is the choice button used for? That's used for the. I'm going to skip this one. This is for the button on the optional item slot. Just make sure. Yeah, like where the first step where the user can choose to enter its own answer. I'm gonna skip it. I like the one that we have better. The continue button. Should continue. I think I like about this one. Let me check. Water green. Yeah, I like this one. So I'm going to go and continue button. Continue button. What else? We have the play button, which is the character class selection. play button used for character class. What else? Then we have the important steps, I guess. Okay, important screen one. Then we have important screen two. The covers. And then onboarding screen three. Character creation. And then tailwind styles. And I'm gonna go already add some of these manually, but make sure they are all migrate. And then finally, remember that the purpose of this instruction is to make the onboarding process in this project as similar as the code layout elements provide. Imported from the project. So let's see what it does. Let's see it in action. I hope it works. If it doesn't work, I'm guessing I will need to just build it manually, to be honest. And that's okay. I can spend, not today, but I'll spend a couple of minutes getting the layout right. Just for as a tip, what I would usually do is, because trying to understand like the front end code with dynamic variables can be a bit messy sometimes, or really long. I will ask the in this case cursor to kind of extract the layout or the front end code from within the React components and give me like a clean slate where I can just work with HTML, CSS, and then transfer that back into being integrated into the project. So in the class colors as well. I actually didn't prepare class colors, so I hope it doesn't use it because I really don't plan to use class colors for now. It's also missing the Warlock class. I remember that, yep. So I'm going to, I need to edit the character creation steps. So it actually uses, in fact, if I go to lovable right now, is it considering the Warlock class? I think I didn't notice. I think it doesn't. I think it only has Rogue, Mage, and Warrior, yeah. We also have an error here related to the database. Let's see how it looks like with this AI help we get to get this styling right. If it can get it at least like 80% closer to the previous version and front end provided, I think that's worth it for me. But let's see what happens. It seems to be on the final step. I'm nervous. I'm nervous for running NPM run that. Oh, it's even considering the animation delays. It's awesome. Because we added animations in this version, we didn't have animations before. It's creating the components that we didn't have before as well. I hope it's integrating these new components. Let's update motivations that component. Okay, so it is integrating the buttons that it just created. That's great. And the habit category step as well. Yeah. And updating the character creation step component. That's our last step of the onboarding process. Come on, you got this. You got this. You got this, cursor. I believe in you. Considering the animations once again, that's cool. Adding loading dots, which I had in the previous project. And then adding those loading dots before showing the onboarding screen. Okay, it seems like it ended, so I'm gonna accept all the changes. Going to run npm run that, fingers crossed. Open that port. Let's check it out. I'm gonna go inspect it just because I want to see the mobile layout better. Going to create a new account, right? So test 3, I think, 4, I think it is. Sign up. Okay, so we have a new color black, but I'm okay with that because I can just change the variables later. The button is right. It's that kind of playful button that sticks out of the front. We also have the tutorial component here. It needs a bit of work, right? It needs an X to be closed or drag to the side to be closed. Also, the face should be like offset to the left side of it. I can choose an option from here. Actually, the color green changed. I don't know why it changed that radically. Oh yeah, I think it might be using the tailwind ring now, probably. I'm just gonna go and put my habits. Click on continue. Okay. Select up the 3 areas. That's right. Mindfulness. Yeah, I can now click the continue button just because I have this huge guy over here. So I'm just gonna go and add cursor. I'm in the middle of testing this right now. Can you add a timer to auto close the dialog box component? And also add a subtle X icon to the right corner to be able to close it. You should also be able to drag it to a side to close it with an animation. I'm also going to change the mode right now because a couple of cents and a couple of cents and a couple of cents can get you poor eventually. It's trying to import a new library, Framer Motion. I'm okay with it. I think I like to use a couple of motion components in the future, so I'm okay with that. For some reason, it's editing each onboarding step. Oh, okay, okay. I think it's to import the. I don't know why it's doing. No, I don't need a visual indicator, bro. Let's see what it does. Okay, it's adding like an indicator to let people know that they can drag it to close it, but let's see how that looks like because I don't want that many noise in my screen. By the way, so far I think it's doing a great job using the colors we gave them. I think this green is definitely not right. I mean, it's not the green that we were using before, right? So if I go to, yeah, I don't know why it's a different green. So I'm just gonna copy these values just to make sure it's the right values. I think for some reason it was using the, yeah, it was using the tailwind ones, I believe. Okay, let's set the files and I'll see how it looks like. If I reload this page, it should take me to step 1, right? It is not. Yeah, that notification thing, it's a bit of work, I believe, but that's okay. Okay, yeah, if I reload the page, it's taking me to the old create character screen instead of the onboarding, new onboarding. So I'm going to stop the server and see if by reloading it I can get. Okay, I guess I will have to create a character just to test things real quick. Oh, wow, I really don't like these notifications by default, but I think the good thing is that they're using a component so I can edit it. Go with test 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 if you wanna hack my account. Okay. So this can be closed by clicking the arrow. Okay, put my habits, bam, bam. And then I can just drag it. Yep. In 3 areas and continue. Okay, I think it did a great job there in the layout, right? We can name the character here like arrow. And then this is supposed to be the gender, this icons right here. So I click on a woman, and then it's getting a bit buggy because it's not loading the images because it was hunter before and now it's ranger. So I need to update the assets file names. I'm just gonna go with warrior and start my adventure. And okay, I have my warrior hand row and yep. Okay, so it seems to be working, right? And if I log in again, invalid logic credentials. What? It was it 6 maybe? Yeah, it was 6. Okay. I'm gonna take a quick look again. Right, just because I want to know what do I need to change. So 1, too many notifications beginning here. I like the progress bar. I don't mind it. Maybe make it just subtle, like not green for sure. I also don't like the way it disappears that quickly. Bam, bam, continue. And probably need to still change the color, the background color, right? So I think I can do that manually. So if I go to background here, background, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's not the background color. Yep. No, where did I put it? Oh, god damn it. There you are. So that's background color I like. Gonna go back to my tailwind one and update it. That's the one I like. And if I go and check it out, yeah, now it's the right color. I like this one better. Looks nicer. And there we go. I think as next steps, and I'm just gonna note that down because that's gonna be our task tomorrow. It's gonna be one, fixing the default notification fields. So make them closable and probably more likely to the style that we're using now in the UI. More. I'm also for the dialog box, make the like the counter subtotal and remove the extra icons. Like it has an icon at the bottom to kind of let the user know we can drag it, but I think it looks worse. And what else? Okay, 3, need to fix the routes of the images. 4, make new images actually, because as you can see, this one right here is actually like too close, like to myself, as you can see in the eyes. But that's okay. I made this with my Midjourney, but I think I can get better versions, and actually with a style that I'm going to explore more, an artistic style from the new 4.0 model generation of GPT. So I'm going to try that and make a new asset for each class as well, because I only have the images so far. So I need to make new images and need to integrate the warlock as well. Integrate the warlock in character creation, because right now it doesn't show. And just as a side note, I'm going to add to the list, check naming conventions, check the naming conventions for the ranger / hunter, because I think in some parts of the code and even in the documentation, we don't have ranger, we have hunter. And I think in some instances we even have a rogue. So we want to make sure they all have the same label. So when I make a change, it actually changes all the labels and all the components that are related to that class. What else? I think we're basically covered in every other area. I think we got an error as well. Yeah, check the error. We need to check an error. Check an error where the old onboarding, no, the old character creation prompt. Let me try it again, right? So I think if I reload the screen, it's weird. It's actually taking me to the very same step. But if I clean the onboarding thing, yeah, it's taking me to the / character creation. So maybe like remove the / character creation part and redirect all users to the onboarding. There you go. Those are my notes for the day. So yeah, that's basically it. You got it. Today we worked on actually want to see what happens if I create a warlock. Just making sure everything is right. And there you could see, like in the old character creation, it had the label hunter. So I need to change that. And also in the database, right? Because if I go to the database right now, And I click on characters. I actually haven't created any hunter slash. Yeah, so it's okay from the database size. So yeah, I think we got it right. This was the previous version, and this is the new version. I'm liking the new version so far. We have the buttons. I'm gonna get new icons as well. So we have a lot of work to do for tomorrow, and that's exactly what we're gonna do. I just listed the changes that we need to do. So it's basically keep polishing all the systems that we've already implemented. But as you can see, we created the onboard with a single prompt in Lovable, and we make it look exactly like we wanted to with like not even a lovable prompt with a cursor prompt. That's of course because I've already had ready the designs, like the HTML code for the front end. But I'm glad it actually matched it that well when importing the code. I thought it was going to be like more problems, more errors, but it was really smooth. I probably that had something to do with the way I instruct the AI to export and import back that code. And yes, you can see like now the work, at least for the onboarding part, is just finishing the details. Those small errors about the character dialogue below, things I don't like. But the logic seems to work fine. Like we're not getting an error because we're selecting a specific class. We're not getting an error because we're inputting the name. We're not getting an error because we are selecting motivations and stuff from the first steps of onboarding. But actually, I do know that we have an error here, which seems to be related to the like onboarding data. So I'm just gonna go and check the profiles to see if we are storing the data correctly. What is this? Isn't sure what? Okay, it's asking like default names. But if I go to, maybe it's been updated in application now. Okay, that's weird. It seems like it didn't create the. Yeah, it seems like, oh no, yeah, onboarding data and profiles. We do have it. Yeah. So on profiles, onboarding data, we have the motivation and the categories, and if it has completed onboarding. This is a very good like structure of a database field, by the way. I'm glad it created one single JSON property for it instead of creating like 3 separate rows for each one of the properties here. So you got there, you got there. I don't know what the error is related to be honest, because the data seems to be loaded fine, but I'm gonna try to fix it nevertheless. And that's it for the final trick. I'm just going to update this version to lovable. So for that, we're gonna go and hit add a commit message. This is imported UI from old project plus made some adjustments to dialog component. Great, and now I'm gonna git push origin main. This should push all the changes we made in the local version with the help of cursor to lovable. So yep, it got the commit from here. And if I go and go to my preview here, I should be able to get that new version working in lovable as well. I'm gonna try to reload here, log out, sign up, test 10, why not? Sign up. It is, okay, it's using many new things, new button, you can see it there. There's new things. It's actually, some of the icons have no loading, by the way, but that's fine. And then you got this. I really need to get rid of this bill right here. I'm just gonna write that down for tomorrow. Remove the success register message. Yeah. And then you get the different things in here. That's fine. The ranger doesn't work because it has an incorrect name. We need to update the gender icons as well. There you go. And if we have a name here, file, start my adventure. And the character is created. Okay, awesome. So yeah, we got that working. And hopefully tomorrow, again, like I said, we're just gonna polish the details. And after that, we're gonna work on the onboarding screen, like getting the details of the onboarding screen, which will include like an extension of the habits list, right? You can see right here, like what my plans are. We're gonna add a menu or navigation menu to navigate to the different parts of the app. You're gonna have like a list of the current habits or the ones you have for the day, and then the classic experience and health bars. I actually like this version more. We're probably going to add the habits in here, and yeah, that's gonna be what's going to be next. Then of course finish the habit screen. I want it to look like this. We have this version working in the last project as well, so I'm going to do the very same thing I did for the onboarding, and maybe for the dashboard too, to be honest. Yeah, but we're gonna try tomorrow and see how it goes tomorrow. So that's gonna be it for today. Thank you for being part of the stream. If you're interested in following the series, I try to stream every day at the same hour, sometimes 1 hour less. I try to be like a more like earlier. I kind of started the stream a bit late today, so it's usually a bit earlier. But if you like me to stream like at the same time, I can definitely do it at the same time. These are all recorded in X as well, my X profile, so you can check the previous ones, how did we begin this project, which I think is going tremendously amazing with this new approach of creating the pillars or the features by separate and then putting them all together. And finally, you can check my YouTube channel where I'm uploading videos about vibe coding and the business of vibe coding if you're interested in that. Make sure to give it a look. So thank you so much. That's going to be the stream for today. And